All right, today we're going to tackle an absolute icon, a piece of modern myth, really. Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower. And here's the deal. We're going to do this using only the official source material. No fan theories, no speculation. We're just peeling back the layers to see what the song itself actually tells us. And we're going to start right where the song starts, with what has to be one of the most famous opening lines in all of music history. I mean, think about it. Right away, you've got a scene, you've got a conversation, and you can just feel this desperate urgency. Who are these guys? Where are they? The questions just start piling up from the very first second. So before we even get to the sound, the melody, any of that, let's just look at the words on the page. Because that's what we're going to do here. We're going to treat this song like what it is at its core, a piece of poetry. You could even say it's like a tiny 3-act play told in just 12 lines. 12 lines! Okay, so the Joker speaks first, and you can tell he feels totally trapped by what he calls too much confusion. But listen to what he's saying. This isn't just random chaos. It's really a crisis of value. He's looking at this world of exploitation. Businessmen, they drink my wine, plowmen dig my earth. And his real beef, his core complaint, is that nobody, from the top of the ladder to the bottom, gets what any of it is truly worth. It's this desperate cry from someone who just sees the whole system as, well, spiritually and intellectually bankrupt. And then the whole tone just flips completely. The thief's response is so calm, it's almost philosophical. And what's interesting is he doesn't just dismiss the Joker's despair. He actually validates it, right? He basically says, yeah, I get it. A lot of people feel like life is just a joke. But then he pivots. He says, you and I, we've been through that, and this is not our fate. It's like he's saying it's time to move beyond all that cynicism and get real, because the hour is getting late. That panic from the first verse, he's channeling it into purpose. And then, boom, the perspective just explodes outward. It's like we cut from this super intense, intimate conversation to this wide cinematic shot of the Watchtower. All of a sudden, you've got princes, women, servants. A whole society is just sketched out in a couple of lines. And then comes the threat, the growling wildcat, the two riders getting closer, the wind starting to howl. The song just stops. It doesn't end with a resolution. It ends with this moment of pure impending drama. It's a cliffhanger. And honestly, it's a cliffhanger that's lasted for decades. Okay, so that's the story on the page. That's the poem. Now let's get into how Bob Dylan took those words and built them into a piece of music that would, and this is no exaggeration, pretty much change the world. So, the song's first official home was right here, on the 1967 album John Wesley Harding. And you gotta understand, this album was a huge shift for Dylan. He was moving away from all that electric surrealism of his mid-60s stuff. This was a stark, kind of acoustic-driven record, and it was really the perfect, sparse landscape for a song like Watchtower to be born into. And this timeline here, it just lays it all out perfectly. The album drops in late '67, and then the song itself gets its official copyright in 1968. Just think about that timing for a second. Its birth is happening right in the middle of one of the most turbulent, transformative periods in modern history. I mean, talk about a song for the times. A song about confusion and impending change for a world that was, well, confused and on the brink of change. But you see, the story of Watchtower doesn't just end in the recording studio. Not even close. In fact, you could say that's where its second and, honestly, arguably more famous life begins. And that life is on the road. I mean, the song was recorded, it was released, but how did it really, truly live on? How did it cement its place as an absolute legend? Well, the answer isn't just in the grooves of the vinyl. It's in the performances.
Just, wow. Look at this number. According to the official records, Bob Dylan has performed this song live more than 2,300 times. Let that sink in. 2,338 times. That is absolutely staggering. It's his most played song, ever. More than any other song he's ever written, this is the story he's returned to, night after night, decade after decade.
And this timeline here really puts that massive number into perspective. So the first time he ever played it live was back in 1974. But take a look at that last plate date, September 19th, 2025. Now, okay, that's obviously a placeholder, right? It's probably for a scheduled tour or something. But how perfect is that? I mean, for a song that famously ends on a cliffhanger, its own official story points to a future that hasn't even happened yet. The performance history itself is like an unfinished sentence. Which really brings us to the heart of it all, doesn't it? The enduring Watchtower. This thing isn't just a song, it's a story that simply refuses to end. So it only seems right that we end where the song itself ends, with this image. A conversation cut short, an event about to happen, a whole world just holding its breath. For more than 50 years, this is the exact moment the song has left us in. And so we're left with this final question. After all those thousands of performances, and after decades of unbelievable cultural change, who are the two writers now? The song never gives us the answer. It just tells us they're coming. And maybe, just maybe, that's why, after all this time, we still can't stop listening.